Do you feel like your business is running you rather than the other way around? Or maybe business is going really well for you, but you know it can be better. You've got a good company, but you know it can be great. Our special guest today is going to share his best business building tips with us to help you transform your business. Hi, I am Tim Fitzpatrick with Rialto Marketing, where we believe marketing shouldn't be difficult. All you need is the right plan. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. I am really excited to have with me Steve Preda from stevepreda.com. Steve, welcome and thanks for taking the time.
Hey, Tim, it's great to be here. I'm very excited chatting with you.
Yes, awesome. And I know I was on your podcast a month or two ago, so it's nice to switch seats and have you share your wisdom with us. So thank you so much for doing that. Before we jump into what we're really going to talk about, which is running a better business, I'd like to ask you just a few rapid fire questions, help us get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
You ready to jump in?
I am.
Okay. When you're not working, how do you like to spend your time?
Well, I love to go to jazz concerts if I can get out of town, go to New York. Unfortunately, it's not been happening very much the last year, but I'm ready to go back. I am also a tennis fan. I love to go to tennis tournaments as well as play myself tennis. And I love to read. I love to read books and spend time with my family.
Awesome. What's your hidden talent?
My hidden talent, I think, is to synthesize things. So I like to reflect on things and to try to, come up with models for things. And that's what my podcast is about, coming up with these management blueprints and how you can kind of create some shortcuts to improve your business. I guess that's my hidden talent, or at least this is what I've been working on and trying to make it my good talent.
Okay. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
It's walk your own journey. So don't try to be someone else. Figure out what you're excited about, what you're passionate about, and try to find a way to engage with that. And then you're going to be successful. Life is too short for us to do stuff that we don't enjoy, and it's very hard to be good at something that you don't enjoy. So you might as well find your own thing.
Yeah. What's one thing about you that surprises people?
What I hear, and this is one of those things where it surprises me that it surprises them, but my energy level. So sometimes they say, "How do you have energy to do all these things?" And it seems to be, writing the book and doing the podcast, and you're running your business, and being a speaker and the leadership coach and all that stuff, and it apparently surprises people. I feel like I'm not doing a really great job, and I see how much I could improve, but I guess that's what I get.
Okay. What about success? What does it mean to you?
I'm really resonate. Bob Dylan said that a man is a success when he gets out of bed in the morning and goes to bed at night, and in between does what he loves to do. So that's my definition as well. And really, it's all about the journey.
It's a great one. Where's your happy place?
My happy place, it's not a single happy place. I love to go out on a run with a good audiobook. That's definitely a happy place for me. I used to, when my children were small, I used to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning, and my happy place was, being quiet and read a book and write my newsletter. That was my happy place. And now with the pandemic, my happy place become when I can get out with my friends. I get so excited about it. I'm an introvert, but I realize that I have this side as well. So that becomes my happy place now.
Very cool. What qualities do you value in the people with whom you spend time?
Well, I value people who think, who don't look at things and people and events in isolation, but they try to kind of reflect on the interconnections, try to connect the dots, and who speak about concepts and ideas and their vision more than just the minutia things happening around them. I like the dot connectors.
Very cool. So before we jump in and start talking about how we can run a better business, tell us a little bit more about what you're doing with stevepreda.com, how you're helping businesses.
That's a great question. So stevepreda.com is a new place for me. I've been in the last 20 years. I've been an entrepreneur myself. I built an investment banking firm, which I managed to sell, and that's part of my story of how that happened. And this also influenced why I wrote the book Buyable. So I was an entrepreneur, an investment banker, and then I became a business coach. I ran a couple of peer groups and now a leadership team coach. I did EOS for the last 4 years, helping companies implement EOS as a management blueprint to make their businesses better. So that's all there. And then I recently wrote the book Buyable, Your Guide to Building a Self-Managing, Fast-Growing, and High-Profit Business. And that's on my website as well. So I guess that all comes together as stevepreda.com. And I recently realized that I've had different brands for my businesses, my practices, and I'm done with all my branding. I just want to be me in the future, and everything I do is just going to be on stevepreda.com, and I don't have to worry about branding anymore.
Okay, very cool. So let's dig into it. You had mentioned your book Buyable. I think any of us that are building a business, building something that is buyable, something that somebody else would want to buy, even if we don't plan on buying, is a good thing. Why should we do that? Why should we build a buyable business, no matter what our end goal is?
Yeah, so this is the idea behind Buyable and why the book is not called Sellable. That would have been the obvious title, Sellable. So people talk about building a sellable business because they want to sell it. And my thought is that, no, you don't want to build a sellable business. You want to build a buyable business that gives you options, and you don't have to sell it. You just have to create an asset which is going to be attractive to other people. It's not dependent on you anymore because it's self-managing. It's a growing business. It's consistently growing. It's profitable. It's high profit, means that it is in its industry. It's one of the highest profit businesses, which it makes it a valuable asset. And when you have an asset like that, you will be able to attract good people, better people that are really fun to work with, you will be able to delegate, and they will run with the ball and build your business for you. You will not have to labor in the business all the time, so you will have time for other passions and other things, and your family and whatever is important to you, and to be at the strategic level. And if life brings you a situation where you need to sell the business, either because you have a bigger opportunity that you want to go after, or because it's at the end of your career and you want to just transition out and not own that business anymore, or you want to be with your family, or you are sick and you can't run the business anymore, or you go through a life change like a divorce and you need the cash, then you have options, and you can then pivot and let someone else take over the business without major transition, you being stuck in the business for a long time. That's the idea. So Buyable, and it comes from my life situation several years ago when I wanted to move here to the United States, and I got approached by someone. And at that point, I had been teaching other entrepreneurs how to build buyable businesses effectively. And it turned out my business was unbuyable. It turned out I was too involved in my business. I was the chef and the bottle washer of the business, and I was involved in everything. And my buyer told me that there's no goodwill value. He would buy the furniture and the computers and give me a commission on whatever they close, but the business itself was not buyable. And that's when I realized that I had to do the hard way. I had to travel back and forth between the US and Hungary, where I was at the time, where my business was, for a year until the business became viable, and then I could sell it. And I learned my lessons. I don't want other people to go do it the hard way. So that's what buyable is about.
Yeah, I think the really important concept for people to pull out of this is, if your business is centered around you as the owner, most people do not want to buy that. It's sellable, right? Anything's sellable at the right price. But if you want to maximize the value of your business from a sales perspective, or frankly, just from a lifestyle perspective, you can't be the broken cog in everything. It cannot be centered around you. Did I hear that right?
That's definitely one of the 3 parts. So self-managing is important, because people want to buy the future. And if you're stuck there and it depends on you, then how can they give you the money? And are you still going to be motivated to build it for them? You're an entrepreneur. You're not going to be an employee. So that's the one piece. The second piece is the business has to be growing. Because if the business is not growing, then it's a frozen situation. People, good people, will not be able to progress in their careers. So you're going to leave the business. You won't be able to attract good people because it's all, stuck at the same level. So it has to be growing, good or bad. That's a fact, to attract good people. And thirdly, it has to be profitable, because if you're not sufficiently profitable, then you are going to be forced into a situation in the commodity positioning where your business is going to lose its value. Other people are going to disrupt you. So you need this cushion of profitability so that you can make the changes and you can evolve the business going forward, and you can be one of the attractive players in the market, which will give you that viability as well.
Awesome. So let's jump into management. What are the 7 different management concepts that we need to understand and have in place if we're going to be running a well-oiled machine here?
Yeah. So that concept of the 7 management concepts, it really came about when I was thinking about, okay, what do these books like Traction, EOS, or Mastering the Rockefeller Habits, or The E-Myth, or Scaling Up, there are others. So what are these books? How do they approach building a great business, and what is it that implement? And then I kind of reverse engineered from these books, and I went back to the origins of who the ideas came from, and then where do those people found those ideas from. And what I discovered was that there were 7 major management concepts that have been evolving and developing over the last century. The first of them, creating processes, was articulated by Frederick Winslow Taylor in the Principles of Scientific Management in 1911. And since then, there were others like Peter Drucker and Jim Collins and Andy Grove and others who came up with these concepts and refined it. So there are 7 concepts, and all the Fortune companies, they already have implemented this, decades ago. And if you have money to hire an MBA, they're going to do it for you. But if you are a small to medium-sized business, then you can actually find a cookie-cutter way of implementing these concepts by going to the management blueprints. These books that will help you. It's because they package these management concepts for you and help you implement it. So the 7 management concepts are grouped in 3 groups.
Okay.
The first group is the foundation. So the foundation for your business is, Jim Collins said that first you have to get the right people on the bus, you have to get the wrong people off the bus, and you have to put the right people in the right seats. So the first 2 concepts, the first one is the culture. You have to define the culture for your business, articulate your core values, the core behaviors that your people, your good people for you have to exhibit. And then you have to put them in the right seats. You have to determine the structure of your business. That's the second concept, second is structure. So what's the right structure for your organization? And define those functions and the roles and responsibilities that go with each of the functions, and put the right people in the seats. Okay. So that's foundation. Now the second, when you got the foundation down, then you go to the direction. So where does this company go into the future? And there are 2 concepts that go in there. The first one is the vision. So what is going to be your vision? And the vision breaks down into 3 elements. The first one is your BHAG, the big, hairy, audacious goal, Jim Collins. So what is your big, hairy, audacious, the big goal, the single big goal that like the North Star for your business that everyone is striving to achieve? And when you got that, then you have to figure out your purpose as well. So what is your business about? Maybe purpose is the first one, actually. So figure out your purpose or mission for your business. So because every business has to stand for something. It's not about you as the business owner. Obviously, you want to make money, but the business has to have a societal purpose for it to have any justification for existence. So what are you doing for other people? What is the purpose of the business? And then the BHAG, the big, hairy, audacious goal, that's the long-term goal. And then how do you paint the picture? So Cameron Harold talks about the vivid vision. So you need a vivid vision, a medium-term vision for your business, because it's okay to have this big, hairy, audacious goal. Like, SpaceX wants to create that colony on Mars. It's great to have that, but where do we go from here? How, what's an intermediate stage for us? What's your vivid vision? And SpaceX vivid vision is to create this 1 hour trip from London to Hong Kong and having the hyperloop to get out to the launching pad and get the rocket over to Hong Kong, London, and major Shanghai in just an hour and a half. So that's kind of the vivid vision. So you need that as well. So the vision is the purpose, the big, hairy, audacious goal, the vivid vision. And when you figure that out, then the concept 4 is the strategy. So how are you going to get to do that vivid vision? How are you going to differentiate your business in the market from others? What are the goals that you have to set to get to your vivid vision? What is going to be the resources that you have to mobilize to be able to achieve those goals? So people resources, material resources, financial resources. And then how do you, what is your process to get, so how are you going to get there, and how are you going to monitor the progress and make sure that you are hitting those goals? So that's your strategy. So when you figured out the foundation, the direction, then it's all about the production. So how do you produce that result? And the production, there are 3 concepts here. One is execution, which is all about setting your rocks, so quarterly priorities, rocks, having a scoreboard so that you know every week whether you've won the week or you didn't win the week. So you're clear on the numbers that you have to hit as a company, the people in the company, what are the numbers they have to hit. And the third piece is the meeting. So you need to have meetings where you create this accountability, this peer accountability between your people. So you're not, as a business owner, you're not managing everyone on a bilateral basis, but you create this teamwork and team accountability where people are holding each other accountable and do the heavy lifting for you. So that's execution. Then processes is about creating the playbooks and the checklists so that you are systemizing your business. And finally, the alignment is the last concept, is how do you make sure that everyone in the business understands where you're going with the vision, how you're going to get there, and everyone is part of your vision and they're all rowing the boat in the same direction. That's alignment. And you also have to make sure that everyone is aligned in the company. It's no good to have your vision if people are not aligned around it.
Okay, so let me make sure I got these right. So the 7 management principles, we've got first the foundational elements, culture, and then the structure of the company, making sure we got the right people in the right seats. Then we've got the direction elements, which is vision and strategy. And then we have our production elements, which is execution, our processes and or our systems, and then alignment.
Yeah, you got it.
Awesome. I love it. So everybody listening, watching, that's it. Those are the 7 elements that we need to have if we're going to be building a well-oiled machine, a business that is actually buyable. Now, I love this concept you're talking about here of a management blueprint. When we look at marketing, we typically start people with a blueprint, and that blueprint is, for us on the marketing side, it's a plan. It's a plan of how we're going to get the right message in front of the right people. from a management standpoint, there's different blueprints out there. What are the different, what is a management blueprint? What are the major principles involved, and how do you know that you're going to pick the right one for your business?
Yeah, these are excellent questions. So there are many management blueprints. In the book Buyable, I talk about 10 different blueprints, and there are 3 eras that I identified. So there are the classic blueprints. There is there are pioneers. So first the pioneers. The pioneers were the E-Myth. That was the first one, Michael Gerber. The Great Game of Business. Those are the pioneers. And then you got the classics, which is Mastering the Rockefeller Habits, and Traction, which is EOS, the Entrepreneur Operating System, and the Advantage. You got the Advantage, and there's the other one, which is I'll think of it in a minute. So there's one more, which is for small companies, fast growing companies. And then you've got the third wave. The third wave is the 4 disciplines of execution, and scaling up, which is another Vern Harnish book, and the 3-Hag way. And basically what these books do is, starting with the E-Myth. The E-Myth brought this whole concept of this idea of creating processes in your business to make sure that you know where you're going, how you're going to get there. It's this idea of creating a franchise prototype for your business so that you can replicate it, you can duplicate it in different geographies. It talks about McDonald's. It talks about the concepts of working in the business and on the business. So how most people start out as technicians and they have to become entrepreneurs and figure out how they elevate themselves and work on the business and delegate their functions. And then the Great Game of Business, the other pioneer book, was all about gamifying the business and watching the numbers and helping everyone understand how they fit in, how they connect to the numbers, and keep opening your books with your employees and how you do that. And then the era of the classic era is where these books started to show actual tangible tools. So both E-Myth and the Great Game of Business, they talk about concepts, but they don't actually create the tools. And the tools are created by this classic books. So they start. The first one was Mastering the Rockefeller Habits. So talked about the 1-page strategic plan and the rocks and all these other tools that you can actually implement in your business. And then Traction kind of simplified it down. Traction said, okay, so there are too many tools. You just pare it down, just 20 tools, and make them very cookie cutter, and make, create this process where every business does the same thing. They follow the same process, and it kind of simplified it, dumbed it down to the degree that even a very small company can do it. Even if one person can do Traction. And then the Advantage, Patrick Lencioni, he brought this human element into it. So he talked about, okay, how do you mobilize people? How do you inspire people? How do you lead? How do you create this healthy team environment where people are bringing their maximum talent to the business, and they are bringing their energy, and they're gonna own their functions, and they work well together, and they're gonna have these hard conversations together. So these are the major classics. And then the third wave is basically taking everything at a higher level, going deeper, so scaling up. It's about maybe Traction takes you to there's a 2-year journey, and they take you this far, maybe 30-40% of the way. How do you go to the next the 60-70%? And then the 3-Hag way is all about strategic, a lot of tools in the strategy realm that maybe the other blueprints have been weaker in. The 4 disciplines of execution focused on the execution. So how do you make sure that you execute like clockwork? Is the production piece, a big piece of the production piece. So all these blueprints, they have different approaches. They all use the 7 management concepts. Not all of them use all of them, but those are all the concepts there are, at least as far as I found them. And they have put different emphasis on different pieces. And they also address sometimes different companies. So one blueprint is more like a technician who is trying to turn their profession or their trade into a business. That's the E-Myth. The great game of business is about, maybe it's a bigger company that has more complexity, and how do you engage everyone in the numbers game. Traction is more about the small company and making this very cookie cutter. Scaling up is about fast growing companies and how do you take them on this fast growth. And 3-hack way is about strategy. So there are lots of aspects going on there, and maybe I'm giving you too much detail here, but that's
no, not at all.
About something you can't stop talking about it.
So the management blueprint is really just a plan for how you're going to manage your business. It gives you those concrete steps that you're gonna take to manage your business in an efficient way. Did I get that right?
Yeah, basically. So remember the 7 concepts? So culture, structure, vision, strategy, execution, process, and alignment. So this is all they do. And if you do these 7, you're going to have a wonderful business. And then, of course, then you can go into more depth. So when we talk about strategy, then there are different elements to it. And you can just start at the basic things, and then you go, and it's like a whirlpool. It keeps growing and growing. You can get into more detailed strategy to understand your target market and your differentiation and your tactics, and how you map your competition, and how you're gonna how you're going to do it your way and get there. And there are a lot of ideas that go into these management blueprints. And the idea is that you need need a guide who will actually help you navigate between all these concepts, because every company is different.
Yeah.
And every company has different challenges. They are at different stage of development. And it's really important that, and that's why, being too cookie cutter, it can backfire, because not all companies need to start at the same place.
Yes.
Some companies they don't have anything. Other companies have their values already. They already have goals, and have some strategies. Other companies, they don't have goals, but they have good processes because they have ISO 9001 or whatever. So every company is a different place, and the idea is to meet the companies where they are. Books, and over my head there are like 5 times more books. You can't. This is an overwhelm. So it's not a lack of information these days. It's an overwhelm. It's an avalanche of information, and people are confused. And there are 300,000 books being published every year in America, and we just don't know where to start. So the idea is, bring in someone who gets your business, who is a seasoned entrepreneur and business leader, and they can understand what you're doing, and then let them figure out, okay, what are the tools that you need right now to reap the low-hanging fruits, and start from there. And that's the idea.
So by working with somebody like you can help them really identify which of the management blueprints is going to work best and be most appropriate for them based on where they're at.
And which of the tools? So maybe they need a combination. Maybe they need tools from 3 or 4 different blueprints for where they are, so that they can move forward.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. This is awesome. I love it, Steve. Where any last minute words of wisdom or thoughts you want to leave us with here?
The wisdom is, try to leverage other people. So don't just read everything. I mean, I did that. I've been there. I read, 2 or 3 books a week, and it's wonderful. It's very stimulating. But but find a mentor who can actually make sense of this. Someone who maybe join a peer group, talk to other people. So definitely talk to people, and try to use other people's experience to synthesize things. So even if you don't have your personal guide, have your mentor, talk to other people, and try to understand what the landscape is, and what is your biggest challenge, and try to look for a solution for that challenge. And And maybe you need a guide, maybe you need a business coach, maybe you need a good mentor, a peer group. Don't lock yourself up in your ivory tower, because that's not gonna work. However many books you listen to or read, it's just too much to process.
Awesome. Steve, thank you so much. I really appreciate the information. It's been fantastic. If people are interested in learning more about you, checking out the book, where are the best places for people to find you?
The best place is to go. There is a digital tool that comes with my book, Buyable. So obviously, if you want to buy my book, I'm very happy about that. But if you're not ready to do that, at least check out the tool called Buyability Assessment on buyabilityassessment.com,
Okay.
which will allow you to evaluate your business along 6 factors of buyability. So you will have a complete picture. How strong are you in each of the 6 factors? And that's also going to give you some resources where to go and how to fix those issues that you may have, or how to strengthen yourself in those factors. If you're interested in Buyable, feel free to go on buyablebusiness.com, which is the website, and you can download the first 40 pages of my book, and you can dip into it and understand the big picture concepts and my story of how I came into it. In the book, I share over 100 stories with different businesses on how they became viable, or they failed to become viable, what were the pitfalls, and how did they overcome or didn't overcome. And even on the first 40 pages, you're going to find at least 15 or 20 stories that you can dip your teeth into. So I recommend that you check that out.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve. So that's buyabilityassessment.com, where you can run through the assessment, and Steve will tell you how you're doing from a buyability standpoint. If you're interested in the book, go to buyablebusiness.com. You can download the first 40 pages there. Steve, thank you so much for taking the time. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for tuning in. I am Tim Fitzpatrick with Rialto Marketing. If you want to gain clarity on where to focus your marketing efforts right now, hop on over to our website, rialtomarketing.com. That's RIALTO marketing.com. Click on the Get a Free Consult button. Guarantee you'll get a ton of value from that call and walk away having some clarity as to where you need to focus your efforts right now to get the best return. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, take care.